This is our informal observation number 1. I'm Jennifer Kendall, and this is
Brooklyn Monet.
We're at McKinney North. What is your schedule as a diagnostician?
Well, on a daily basis, that could change depending on my current caseload and whether or not I'm working on initial evaluations or mostly reevaluations. But generally, in the morning, I come in and I check my email, kind of reassess my to-do list. If I need to do formal testing, then I make sure and schedule that with the teachers and try to do it during times that are not really going to interfere either with super important content or testing within the classroom.
So we're looking at more electives.
Yeah, sometimes. You'll learn with some kids, though, that you might not get a whole lot out of them if they're missing their favorite class, so you've got to be a little bit conscious of that. And then, of course, I'm also scheduling everything around arts that I need to attend for evaluation purposes.
Okay. So, I was going to say, we are very busy arts right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I went ahead and determined my goals for the practicum, but know they're going to be expanded. I need to be better prepared to work as a diagnostician because I've done it for 15 years as a teacher, and it's going to be a fun transition.
What do you think is going to be the biggest change or challenge for you?
Well, I don't think it's hosting the ARDS or working with the families. It's going to be more getting the actual testing scheduled and in. Because, I'm not going to have the class schedule anymore, hopefully.
Yeah.
But talking to some of the other diags, other districts, they actually have other duties. One of them has playground duty, one of them has, it's very bizarre. So I'm looking at which, scheduling wise, McKinney's really good about not double booking our people so far.
Yes, for sure.
We don't have car duty in the morning or extra hall duty.
Yeah, and I think that could even change campus by campus.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had that.
The elementary are the ones who told me they're double booked. And I've only worked 1 year in elementary. So that's my only main concern right now is that I'm going to get placed at an elementary campus and be a fish out of water.
Well, think of it as a way to grow and learn.
I don't know anything about the early childhood testing.
Well, I've done a training for play-based assessments, but I have not been at the preschool level either. So,
I'm wondering if I could take a day and go observe a diag on an elementary campus, but I'll have to ask Michelle. So.
Yeah, and if you come across Region 10 sometimes offers the transdisciplinary play-based assessment training. It was really interesting.
Okay, and I had that down here, so we'll skip down and come back up. Are there any other extra trainings or best practices you recommend?
I think trying to do anything that has to do with dyslexia. We have the Texas Dyslexia Academy.
I'm registered for that.
TEA Learn.
Okay.
That's going to be important, and it's required here in McKinney, of course. Pay attention to dysgraphia. And then right now within our district, there's a pretty big focus on autism. And within certain demographics and how we approach that.
That's of interest to me, actually. I'm thinking my son's one of them.
Mm-hmm. And then CSEP, have you done any CSEP training?
I've done some, but I need to do a lot more.
Okay.
I think I just spelled it wrong on here.
No, that's okay.
That's right.
And then the last training that I would recommend is anything that has to do with like second language learners or bilingual students.
I think Region 11 has one coming up. I don't know if we've had many. I mean, I've been in ARDS with interpreters, but I've never seen an evaluation with an interpreter, and I'm not bilingual. So I need to try and see that.
Yeah. Our bilingual diags are very involved when, we're evaluating, particularly for Spanish. But I think we are still growing in the area of outside of Spanish.
And I taught ESL for 1 year, but I had mostly Arabic students.
Yeah.
So, what are your expectations for me as a site supervisor?
I think the biggest expectations I would have would be just you asking questions, taking the feedback and moving forward with it. I mean, those are the biggest things.
I know I need to do more on graduation data and testing. Do we have a lot that ask for the retest before graduation?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not had that. Typically, that's been more the students that are going to transition, not necessarily just seniors that are graduating.
I haven't done much on the transition side except the interviews, and I need to do more on that.
And Wendy would be a good person to talk to.
Contact Wendy.
Have you done the transition Canvas course?
Yeah, I completed that.
Yeah.
And I might go through it one more time just because when you look at it a second time.
Yes.
That's why I keep reading the FIEs and then I'll come back to them. And I'm trying not to just summarize. I'm like, what am I inferring and am I reflecting on them? Because I need to get stronger at writing mine. Most of my testing, unfortunately, was done on people I knew. So I need to be more subjective. It's fun to put it away and go, okay, I know this child and know what they're capable of. But
yeah.
And that'll be easier to see when they're not in my class or my own child. Things I would kind of like to see. I've never seen an AU evaluation, but I know that's more LSSP, I think. So
Well, it's all of us participating together.
Okay.
So Emily, Carrie, and I work together on AU evaluations. We typically do the MIGDIS or, oh shoot, I think that's my son. Hold on.
Okay. And as the phone rang, I'm kind of see how we're gonna have to reschedule and move stuff around and accommodate and be flexible. All right, so you were mentioning the MIGDIS?
MIGDIS, and then also the ADOS. Those are the two big ones that we use for AU evaluations, and it's interactive, and you really get to see the student, in their engagement with others, though that's just with adults, so that's only a snippet, but
yeah, I need to see if they make eye contact and they interact with their peers.
But that would be good for you to observe.
I'm always interested to see how they do the testing because I wasn't allowed to do my son's testing.
Yeah.
As much.
Yeah.
I haven't seen an initial eval with testing because I've been almost all high school. So when they get to me, they've already been eval. So I've only seen the re-evals. Again, maybe I can go see one of those on the... We don't get very many initials here.
Not usually, but this year's been pretty full. So there's a few that I could
I was going to say, I sent you a few. And then I need to see, I've had a couple ARDs with VI and HI, and I have a lot of PT and OT, but I haven't seen the eval for them, and I know that's our separate team. I've seen the complete WJ, but besides my professor doing it.
Yeah. Well, I don't gravitate towards the WJ as much.
What is your preferred?
Well, typically I'm using the Whisk and Wyatt.
I love Whisk and Wyatt. Those are the two that I have actually done.
And CTOP I'll throw in there as well.
Okay.
Now, if I need to, then I can pull out the others. Like the WJ oral language is one that I use for my bilingual evaluations to start off with, because it'll give you, you know, kind of where they're at. But
and are you bilingual?
No, unfortunately, I'm not.
It's all right. And then we talked about interpreter. How often does the evaluation team meeting? I would love to see them, one of their meetings.
We meet once a month usually, but you'll have to just get clearance from Peneo because you'd be missing, you know, whatever's happening here.
And it's normally like Thursday.
Our next one is February 18th, I believe.
Okay.
And we're discussing developmental delay.
Oh, that would be fascinating. I mean, that's the other thing. I've done mostly secondary inclusion and resource. I don't get to go into contained, self-contained or any of that very often. And I'm assuming you get to do all the evals for that group also. So
anybody.
I need to see those too. And then transition and materials. I've gotten to see a lot more this year than I saw last year. But what is the main difference between, I know they're starting at the middle school because it starts at 14, 13. I'm guessing theirs just isn't as long and thorough as ours.
As far as evaluations?
For a transition?
It really just depends on the student and how involved, you know, their needs are. You know, I have some students in transition that have lots of related services and instructional services and whatnot, so those tend to be a lot more involved. But
and now, since I am now up against IEEs, I'm finding, is that increasing?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
We do our best to not put ourselves in positions that would lead to IEEs.
I just keep hearing more of them, so I'm like, is there really an increase? Or maybe we just have such a shortage currently of diags.
Well, an IEE comes about when a parent disagrees with an evaluation.
I know.
And requests that the district, you know, provide one. And that's when they go to an outside, you know, evaluator.
Which are really hard to find right now.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of my ex-colleagues are now doing IEs out of district. They're no longer working for district. What do you wish you were told before starting the full-time as a diag to help prepare and get you more organized?
You have to be ready to multitask. So with that, being organized and developing your own system for tracking your evaluations and, you know, what data you're still needing to collect and, you know, who you've contacted, all of those things which we can get to.
Okay. Yes, definitely.
You know.
So, looking for the giant calendar. Okay, you got the big agenda over there.
Yeah, and I use just Google, you know, spreadsheets mostly because I can color code and it's live, so I can access it, you know, at home if I need to, if I were to forget my paper planner, you know, so yeah.
I do that a lot. So.
And it's always evolving, like always, so.
Yeah, I mean, the job has evolved so much since even I started in the program. And you've only worked as a diag on this campus, right?
No, I've been at 4 other elementary schools.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. This is my 2nd year at the high school level.
2nd year at the high school level. Awesome. I'm going to have a lot of elementary questions for you then.
Yeah.
elementary. What is the best recording software to use for our meetings, and which do we have to record or translate? I think it's just the translator, but.
So we use QuickTime.
That's what I was using.
Yeah. And we record whenever a parent tells us that they're recording.
Okay.
We may record whenever, say, it's a kind of a sticky situation. And then, of course, when a meeting is being translated, when we have an interpreter, we would record and send that to the parent as well.
Okay. And then trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. Is there anything else important that you think should be added or for this semester? I'm trying to get everything together so that we have it all set up, and I know there's going to be a lot on the fly flexibility.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that, you know, as we get into it and go throughout this semester, that I think will just naturally kind of come up and be a point of discussion.
And the best way to contact you, because I know how booked we are right now, looking at the art agenda list. Is it best to email you so it set up the appointments and come in? And
yeah, if you set up on the Outlook calendar, you know, schedule times, that's great. But you can always text or call me too.
Okay.
But yeah, I live by my calendars.
Yeah. And assuming that a lot of your work is done outside of school hours.
I try not to.
Okay.
You know, you really do have to have that work-life balance, or else you're going to drive yourself crazy. And I think that at the elementary school level, it was more difficult for me to leave work at work.
Yeah.
High school hasn't been quite as demanding, but that's where that organization and, you know, multitasking and planning really comes in, because if you can do those things efficiently, there's going to be less for you to do at home.
Okay. Yeah, I need to right now get that underway. doing the diag and the school right now. Teaching it's been fun.
Yeah.
I need to stop being up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop this.